What's going on, pedestrians? This is McGarren Flack in St. George, Utah, Zone 8B, and it is March 23rd, so it's been a couple of weeks since I last brought a video about blooms, and here we're just going to do a quick little tour on what fruit trees are currently blooming, and let's just get into it. Okay, so first off, right here is the O. Henry peach. And look at the blooms that are coming at the bottom here versus the top. The top is not having much change. These are full on blooming, looking great. Look at that, man, they're huge. And they smell really, really good. Versus up at the top here, they're about to bloom. And that's one thing that I noticed is down here with the colder temperatures, they tend to bloom and then they bloom as they go further up the tree, which is interesting. I don't know if that increases the rate of pollination or decreases it, or if that's a normal thing to happen with a lot of the fruit trees. If we go to the red globe, there's just a couple of them. So this is kind of a late bloomer. And over here with the Babcock, this one was the winner. In March, it started blooming, and look at all this growth that is starting to come out. We have had rain almost every day for the last week. In fact, we've gotten 3 inches of rain this month, according to my weather station, which I recommend getting. But something that I want to point out. Here, you can see this guy right here has lost the petals, but it is swollen in the back part of it. That means this is going to have fruit. These other ones, they haven't been pollinated yet. And so if they end up looking like this, I could have a bunch of 5 peaches right here. But of course, I don't want to have 5 peaches, so I will thin them out. But that's how you can tell if your flowers are going to get fruit. So that's the Babcock peach. Here we are with the Asian pear. And look at these starting to swell. These will turn into flower clusters. And again, that's where you can get fruit. We're supposed to hit freezing temperatures this weekend. So I'm hoping that this is still kind of in its dormant stage and I won't lose any of the flowers. But I did some grafting a couple of weeks ago of other Asian pears here. So there's a graft, there's another graft, and there's a graft, and here's a graft. So I grafted these on. Let's see if they take. I did different types of grafting, and I will show you a video on grafting a little bit later. Here's the Santa Rosa plum, starting to get this green growth, but you can see just a couple of flowers that are on here. Not a lot of flowers. If you look towards the top though, there's lots of buds for flowers, and they're starting to bloom right now. I also did a graft down here. So hopefully those will grow. That would be awesome. So no fruit set yet on these. They're just a little bit too new with the flowering. Here's the apple tree, which I did 4 different grafting varieties on this apple tree. Parts of the bark and stuff are dying. So after this year, I'm gonna cut it off and let the grafts grow. But you can see just a little bit of green growth that's going on there. Okay, let's go over to the plumcot. Now this plumcot, you can see the buds are really swelling and some leaf is starting to form there. Good little growth. I also did some grafting on this one, 4 different varieties. Here is the nectarine. Look at these flowers, man. Okay. This is the time just right after they start to bloom to spray them with spinosad. Make sure you do it in the morning or in the evening. I think I'm gonna wait until these bloom a little bit more before I spray it, and you have to spray it when it's dry, so not when it's raining. And it's been raining, so that makes it so that the thrips don't get into your nectarines and deform them so they don't look like weird mutated fruits. Okay, let's go back here. Cherry trees, nothing's going on with the cherry trees. I mean, they're starting to swell a little bit more, but not much. If we go to the pluots, this is the toka plum. Look at this. I mean, you can see in past videos, there was a small little cluster that would start there. It almost looked like the Asian pear tree. And now these are all going to flower. And this is on the second year growth. These were little sticks that were starting to come off of the main trunk. And I actually think I'll let it fruit, but that is pretty neat. Hasn't flowered yet. Here's my 4-in-1. I don't know which variety is which, but I did find out that I am missing the Dapple Dandy version. That's the part that died down here. I was able to find the color codes for each of the varieties, and I have, wait, no, I could be wrong. It might be the Flavor Supreme, but either way, if we look at some of these leaves, let's zoom in here, or these flowers, not much swelling going on there, so might not have taken any fruit. Same thing with this one, but I'll come back in a couple weeks and see if any of the flowering or fruit has been caught. So pluots are in full bloom right now, and apricots. These apricots started to bloom all the way down here at the base, and now they're going up to the ends here. Look at all those flowers that are gonna come out here soon, a little bit. Let's see if we have anything that is gonna fruit. Okay, right here, you see the green that's coming into the back there? Right there, that little green spot, good indicator that it's going to be fruit if it stays on the tree. And we've had some pretty high winds, so I don't know if that will pull the fruit off or not, but apricot, and here's the other apricot. Look at that, man, full bloom. So the apricots bloomed at around the same time, but this one was just a week later in its blooming. But man, there are so many flowers on that, and it smells so good. Okay, jujube. Nothing is gonna happen with the jujube for at least another month. We need to hit higher temperatures. Here's the Flavor Grenade pluot. There we go, some nice little flowers that are there. Don't know if any of the fruit is gonna set. I planted this last summer, and hopefully we'll get some fruit on here and let it grow. Okay, now we are gonna go over to my other pluots. The pomegranates are basically the same as anything else. You'll see these little nodes that will start to emerge from the ends of the limbs, and that is the start growth. And they usually do their green growth first, and then they flower a little bit later. Oh, there's some more. You can see, zoom in. There we go. There's some growth. So pomegranates, doing good. And here we have the Flavor King with some flowers, Flavor Queen with just a couple little flowers, and the Flavor Supreme. I just planted this a month ago. We'll see what happens. And then we have a persimmon that's right down here. Marionberry, you can see some growth with the marionberry, green there, and a little bit down there, and coming along the line. So hopefully we'll get some berries this year, but grafted a new variety there. I'll share that in the video in the future. Another grafted variety there. I think those are the chocolate persimmons. And you can see the persimmon is doing a really good job. Nice, go persimmon. And here are, you can't even see them because they're in there, but here's the graft. I just grafted them last week for the persimmons. This is the Hannah persimmon. It's doing pretty good. It's very small, but it has room to grow. And then we go back to the O. Henry. Look at this O. Henry. It is interesting how much variation. I thought that they would be more like an apricot where they would flower all at once, but they tend to not do that with the O. Henry, some of the peaches. And then my cherry tree, another thing, not too much change. This is the Lappin's cherry. You can see some green growth that's going on there, and a cluster that is going to flower possibly right there. All right, let's go up onto the hill. Here we are at the middle of the hill where the two pistachio trees are. There's the Carmen. It's another pistachio tree, but you can see not much growth that's going on here, which is totally fine. I need to clean up this area, get these guys out of here, and mulch all that stuff. Okay, I'm gonna go to the top here and all right, this is a muscadine. You can see growth right there. That's new growth. I just planted this one a month ago, and so that's a good sign that it's starting to grow. It means it's taking. Almost all of the muscadines are at the same stage. These blue tubes are all the muscadines. They do have a little bit of start growth, but not much. And if we go here to the currant, this is one of my Primus currants. This one doesn't have much growth. Little nodes are starting to set right there. That's a good sign. And if we go to this other currant, oh, look at that leafy green. Yes, that's good. Along with some sagebrush. You know, joys of being in a desert. Okay, and then I will skip the muscadines. We'll go to the goumis. Look at the Tillamook goumi, really starting to grow, which is great. And the sweet scarlet, this guy is really growing, gangbuster. Look at all those. New green growth, that's awesome. And the other Tillamook goumi, more growth. So with goumis, I'm not sure if they fruit after they leaf or if it just takes a couple of years, but it's good to have there. All right, here's the last muscadine on this level. You can see there's little starts that are here on the corners and a little bit of new growth that's coming out the side there. It's starting to rain, so hopefully I'll be able to finish this video. Okay, persimmon, look at that swelling. Nothing new in the past couple of weeks though. It has just swelled up. The raven persimmon, on the other hand though, it looks like it is about to explode there. Look at that. It's a good sign. They are getting longer. It's taken a couple weeks. They're slow growing. And the pomegranate, you can see like what I was talking about with the pomegranate down there. This is the Eversweet, starting to leaf out. And this is the Parfionka. Look at the leaves on the sides of that Parfionka. Oh, zoom, there we go. Parfionka is leafing out, which is excellent. So good. All right. We have the pawpaws. Nothing new on the pawpaws. They will flower later. Comfrey's coming out though. Look at that comfrey. And this is the Spice Z nectaplum. A couple of flowers, so that's good to know. But look at these red leaves. I mean, maybe you can't see them because the sun's not out, but these red leaves, so awesome looking. Some flowers that are next to it. Hopefully I'll get a couple of fruit this year. Some other people have said that their Spice Z is one of the first to flower, which is interesting because here it's not. And they're in the same type of zone, so they get the same amount of cold weather. This is the Indian Free Peach. You can see some flowers. Still has not flowered. Indian Free. Whew. And also the Flat Wonderful, same exact thing. Hasn't flowered yet. I know that there's growth there. Look at that growth. And then we go to the pluary line. Here are the next three. These are pluaries. Look at those. Man, that is awesome looking. No large swelling from past flowers. It's still flowering in some areas. You can see that, but look at these bundles. This is after 1 year being in the ground. Hoping to get some pluaries and test it out for you guys. Well, for me, but I'll show you the experience. Here's the Sweet Treat pluary. All of this growth. Look at all that growth. Focus. So, new growth that's starting, and then a couple of flowers that are on it. Not a lot, just a couple, but that's all you need. And then here is the Candy Heart pluary. Look at these clusters. Man, I am so excited. Can't wait to eat some of this fruit. If I get some. Just because it flowers doesn't mean it's gonna fruit. But it's a good sign. All right, here's the Cotton Candy aprium, one of the first to flower. and it's still flowering. This is a couple of weeks after it started flowering. So let me see if I can find any fruit. All right, down here, really good. This is a great sign. Fruiting, 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 fruiting. I mean, all of those are gonna turn into fruit unless they get whacked off by the wind. But that's a lot of fruit on that one little limb. Flavor Delight, aprium. This one gets the brunt of the wind. So I'm sure a lot of the fruit you can see right here. See how that's green? A fruit was sitting on there and there and there and there, but then the wind knocked it off, or something else knocked it off. Either way, same thing with this. This whole line had flowers and possible fruit, but they fell off or got knocked off. So I lost a lot of potential fruit on this tree. Let me see if I can find, oh, there's a couple. So right there, fruit, 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 if they stay on there. If they fall off, that'll be a sad day. Man, this is looking so good. Okay, Flavor Delight. And then here's the other jujube. Nothing on this jujube. And won't get anything for another couple months. And then here is some new growth. Yay, on the mulberry. Now, I'm supposed to be getting fruit in May for this, which is 2 months away. I know they tend to fruit relatively quickly, the mulberries. Here's another mulberry. You can see that these nodes are much bigger than the other mulberry because this will fruit sooner. And I think this year I'm gonna let it grow and get more established before letting it fruit, but we'll see. All right, here are the new rows. There's not gonna be any fruiting. There is a little bit of growth that is occurring with the new ones that I planted this year. Beyond that, I haven't seen many bees, mostly because it's been raining a lot. And hopefully this video was informative for you so that you can see what it will look like if it is going to fruit. But then the next question would be, what do you do when you do get a lot of fruit? And I'll make a video in the future on that. But I'm thinking of making another video in 2 weeks on the progression of all this because it interests me and maybe it'll interest you. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. If not, that kind of sucks, but I'll catch you on the next one. Peace out.